My work week has been incredibly insane, and here's why. Hello all you retro gamers, my name is Tyler from Texas, and welcome to another motor vlog. Before I begin this vlog, I just want to say thank you so much for 100 subscribers. Oh my god, I did not expect to get 100 subscribers ever. I've had this channel for almost 4 years now, and just to see my channel growing in subscribers and more views lately has been absolutely incredible. I know a couple dozen views here and there per video isn't all that much, but to me that means a whole lot. And I want to thank each and every one of you who's been following me since the very beginning, or those that have just started following me today. It's because of guys like you that gets me motivated to keep creating stuff for you guys. Whether it's song covers, moto vlogs, anything really. I mean, I really can't thank you guys enough, and I just can't put it into words properly how much I really appreciate it. I'm sure you guys are very curious what's been happening the past week since I started off saying that this work week was insane. So let me just give you the sum up, like in a nutshell, before I tell each story one by one. In the past 5 days, I had 4 crazy things happen. I had to play a caretaker like I'm at a nursing home for this one guy, which is really sad. I had to help somebody out when her life was threatened after this guy made her look for crack at various hotels around the area, which is horrible. And I had to deal with a loud noise like a bang, boom, and glass shattering, which was scary. And then to top it all off, last night I was involved in a foot chase. What the hell? Gotta admit though, the last one was kind of fun in a crazy way. Well shoot, I didn't meant to go straight, I meant to turn right. I'm taking the scenic route. I'll fix that somehow. But anyway, enough little chit chat. Let me go ahead and tell you the first part. Okay, so day 1 of my work week, I was told that there may be an unregistered guest at a room. So when I arrived at that room, checked on the door, announcing myself security, lo and behold, there was an unregistered guest. It was an unregistered female, and she was with, an older man, probably in his 70s, who, just to put it long story short, I thought he had Alzheimer's. I had to get both of them to the front desk so she could either check in as a visitor, which, by the way, I gotta point this out real quick. The post I'm at is incredibly strict about unregistered guests. Everybody has to check in. It doesn't matter for what reason. If they step in that room for more than a second, they have to pay $6 in order to stay there. But anyway, I got both of them in. She didn't have any ID, nor the money for that matter, so we had to kick her out. But the people at the front desk has given her the opportunity to go back to the room to grab all of her belongings, so I escorted both of them back. While I was escorting them back, the older gentleman was having trouble concentrating. He's not paying attention to what I'm saying exactly. I had to repeat instructions over and over again, sort of wobbling back and forth like he's drunk. So I had to keep him from falling. And as I managed to get both of them back to their room, it was pretty clear that, and this is where it gets even sadder, this woman is clearly taking full advantage of him. And I am just really glad that at the very least I was able to stop that. Because as soon as they entered the room again, she was asking him for money, for cigarettes. Hell, probably took a bottle of, I don't know what it was, maybe it was gin. It's just unfreaking believable. So she finally left, and the rest of the night, the old man came out twice. And the more I had to help him, the more I realized that something is not right with him. Once again, I thought it was Alzheimer's, but I think this woman clearly drugged him. Because the next day, he was a lot better. The first time he was out after the woman left, he got mixed up with what room he was staying in. So I had to convince him that it was another room. While he keeps saying, no, they always told me it's this room. And then the second time he was out, he was just wandering around on the floor where his room is in, and he decided to sit down in the chair that doesn't belong to him. So I talked to him. I want to know, hey, what's going on? And then he claimed that he just dropped his clothes off in the laundromat, which is impossible because it's been locked several hours ago. So that would either imply that A, if he's telling the truth, he somehow managed to unlock the laundry room, which there's no way he could, and get his clothes in, or, as I suspected, he's just losing track of his surroundings. So I explained to him, there's no way you could have been in the laundry room, because I had it locked a long time ago. And I told him, I'm getting really worried about you, man. And I managed to get him back to his room, where he remained there for the rest of the night. Then, of course, the next day, he was a lot better. Oh, my God. So that's one. A couple of days later, this will be day 3 of my work week. Thankfully, nothing really happened on day 2. Day 3, I was just wrapping up my last hour of my work, and suddenly I heard someone crying. I went over to the direction of where the crying was coming from, and I see this girl my age with a couple of people who happen to be, residents here, trying to help her. And I'm not going to get into whole length of detail other than like the very important bits and pieces here, because this will be an incredibly long blog if I have to be overly detailed. So here's what happened, because basically I just made an incident report that this occurred. She found this guy up in town north of Austin, and they, I guess, hit it off and they got along, and for whatever reason she gave him, I want to say $500 to take her around the area, show her around, show her all the shops and the restaurants and whatever. And things have been going along great. But as I got closer to my post, I'm actually getting myself lost, actually. I think I'm going to turn around so I can get back on track of what I was wanting to do originally. So as they were getting closer to my post, this guy decided that she absolutely had to get out of the car, look around for crack dealers. I wish I was making that up. And she was so scared that she had to comply. They checked out various motels and other areas around town until eventually she decided to get the courage to more or less say, you know what, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Get me out of the car. He threatened her, told her to get the fuck out, and just kicked her out of his car, and he left, leaving her without any sort of transportation. And she got dropped off at the gas station next to the post I'm at. I was taking notes. We called the cops, got the description of the vehicle, what the guy looks like, how old he is, you know, what exactly he's been saying. I mean, absolutely dreadful. There must have been at least 7 or 8 police officers at my post getting all this information down so they can find this scumbag. And as I was helping them out, suddenly at a corner of my eye, I saw that car that matched exactly the description. Especially the one where the back of the window is smashed and is covered by saran wrap. So I immediately yelled, "Officer, I see the car!" And 2 of the officers got in the patrol units and just whoop, whoop, trying to catch him. Unfortunately, they couldn't find him. It was at an intersection, and what most likely happened is he saw the police activity, he went, "Oh shit," and bolted. They came back saying that they couldn't find him, and they assumed that he got on the interstate. Anyway, she eventually got a ride and got to where she needed to go. It's incredibly, I don't have any words to describe that one, to be honest. Sorry, there was a weird jump there. You don't want to know what I saw on the road. So what I was trying to say is what happened that night was incredibly horrible. I have no words to describe it. I sincerely wish for the best for her and got to where she needed to go. And I sincerely hope the police will be able to, at the very least, talk to this guy. And now the description of the vehicle and who he is sort of on my radar, my post now. Alright, the next day. Once again, I was wrapping up my last hour when all of a sudden I just hear a thump, thump. And I didn't know where it came from at first. I was in a particular area, so I knew it had to be either inside one of the rooms or maybe outside where one of the cars are. So I looked around, and then I heard glass shattering. That was scary. As I kept looking around, a couple of people came outside of their rooms, and they were able to point me to where it came from or where they believed it came from. They said it came from one of the rooms directly above them. So I went to investigate. One of the rooms I checked, this guy's like, "Why did you wake me up? Blah, 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 blah." And note to self, I didn't just knock just his room, I knocked the room next door to him just in case it happened to be that room. Anyway, they both answered within like a second from each other. And one of the persons that opened the door immediately pointed to the other room saying, "It's clearly them." And then I just had to nod my head and thanks, and he closed the door. So I was talking to him, and I was basically saying, "Look, man, I heard a large bang and glass shattering. Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, everything's fine until you woke me up. I mean, you woke me up, I'm butt naked and everything." Yes, he was butt naked. He was apparently sleeping in bed with his wife. Well, dear me for protecting the public. I didn't see anything odd inside that room. So once again, I just explained to him that there were several witnesses that indicated it was in this area, and this is why I am checking them. That was the end of that conversation. And as I was talking to the witnesses to gather more information, unfortunately I don't have a whole lot to go on. One of the witnesses claimed that the room directly above them, who I was talking to earlier, heard like it was a big fight, and there was thumping, not really thumping, but banging or whatever. And then I guess after I took notice, it just stopped. And then shortly after, there's a noise complaint coming from the same room. I tried to make contact, they didn't answer, so I just rekeyed the room, so they have to deal with the front desk when they can't get into their rooms, whenever they leave. So that was really scary. I haven't heard anything else happen since regarding that. Now, last night, just to top it all off, it was about midnight and I was patrolling. Then I saw this guy who is in his late 20s, sort of stumbling around a little bit, like he was intoxicated. So I came up to him, I asked if he's alright, have you been drinking, have you been taking any drugs? And all he could say to me for a good 10 to 15 minutes was, what the fuck is going on? Is this real? What the fuck is going on? I tried to ask for his name, I tried to ask for his birthday, what room he was staying in, has he been taking any drugs, anything, and he would not give me an answer. And I kind of knew what room he was staying in, but at the same time I had to be absolutely sure. I had the radio with me and I tried to contact the front desk to tell them what's going on. No response. And I was holding him so he doesn't fall over, because several times he nearly fell over and hit his head, and then he slowly regained his memory, I guess, remembered what room he was in. Then he got back to his room. Now, I already called 911, and I was standing right by his room, and he opened the door a couple of times and asked, again, what the fuck is going on? What are you doing here? And I explained exactly what happened to him, that help was on his way, and those 2 times he said, sorry, and closed the door. Then the third time he opened his door, he realized what I have done. And as soon as I mentioned I've called for help, he went, oh shit! And he ran. And I don't know what came across my mind to do this. Either I am brave, I am a dumbass, or I am a little bit of both. I chased him. He bolted and I immediately followed him yelling, stop! Security! Trying to help! And we ran across the courtyard. I was managing to keep in pace because my adrenaline was so pumped at that point. He got inside the front lobby, I was following him, and I was yelling, stop! Stop! And the front desk saw him, he was telling him to stop, and we were bolting through the front doors, and eventually ran through the front parking lot and started bolting down the frontage road of Interstate 35. And then by the time he got off the property, I immediately called 911 because he was out of my jurisdiction and told him, this guy just ran from me, he's on foot, and he's going southbound frontage road of I-35. Of course, gave him a description of what he was wearing, what he looked like, the tattoos he had, the shoes he was wearing, everything. Then eventually the police came. I told them what happened. And upon looking up his identification, I now understand why he ran. He had an active warrant. A simple one, so it's probably not anything serious, but that would explain why he ran from me. Since I called for help, the police were coming, they would have found out he had a warrant, he would have gone to jail. Anyway, they left saying they were going to find the guy and to let them know if I see him again. Cut to about 30 minutes later, an officer returned to the post just to tell me that he has been caught and he has been taken to jail. And then I asked him, like, what kind of drugs was he on? And he said that the guy didn't remember what he took, but to him, he thought it was PCP. Shit. Now, I've always thought PCP was a kind of drug that will get people feeling like they're Superman and wants to fight everyone. But upon further research, that's sort of a huge exaggeration. It's actually very common for them to be very mellowed out, zoned out and everything. Not aware of his surroundings, very numb. But yeah, PCP can get that bad, and I cannot thank God enough that he didn't hit me, he didn't try to fight me, because if that guy was seriously on PCP like the officer said, that would have been a losing battle. Or it could have been a lot worse. So that was my work week in a nutshell. In case you guys were wondering why I haven't been posting any motovlogs lately, a lot of it has to do with that. Also has to do with a lot of stuff that's been happening, and moving out of my apartment, my work schedule. I just been busy. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hopefully my next motovlog will be a little bit more cheerful and happy and fun instead of telling you all this crazy nonsense. I'm happy to have a day off, and I'm using it to ride, and I'm also picking up my much-deserved paycheck. Once again, thank you so much for following me. Thank you so much again for the 100 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.